Well, I guess it's another time for an episode of Winning with Winans. Let's go. And welcome back to Winning with Winans, Las Vegas' newest and coolest financial show. I'm your host, Ken Winans. And yes, I actually do wear cowboy hats, ride horses, NRA member, hunting. I do all that stuff. But let's talk about my guest, who is a very well-known businesswoman in Las Vegas, Ms. Danny Reese. How are you today, Danny?
Ken, thank you so much for having me. What a pleasure.
Well, and you're from the Midwest, so the cowboy hat doesn't shock you, right?
Or the cowboy boots or the Wrangler jeans. Absolutely not.
That all good, huh?
Well, my dad, wears his pin in his pocket. In his shirt. He always has to have a button-down shirt with a pocket, so he can put his pin in his chewing tobacco, I'm from a town of 800 people, Ken.
You're a country girl. So
I was born there.
You were born there,
I was born there. And yeah, it is very much country where I'm from in Iowa, but I don't see myself as a country girl. I started traveling when I was really young and started in the fashion industry when I was really young. So I kind of always see myself as like this big city girl. And I think that's why it was so easy for me to transition out of Hamburg, Iowa.
Well, that's funny. You talked about traveling when you're young. How old were you on your first international trip?
I was young. I was signed with an agency when I was still in school, and I went over to Europe when I was about 14.
Wow.
So
Midwest, small town lady.
So I started in pageantry. And that's how it all started, actually. I competed for Miss Iowa Teen USA, and the choreographer at the pageant was actually a modeling scout. And she discovered Ashton Kutcher, Carly Kloss, all the big names from the Midwest. She was responsible for them.
Wow.
And she was like, you need to come with me for a weekend, and I'm going to take this pageant look and make it more model. And we went on a bunch of go-sees in New York City, and I was signed with Ford Model Management. And from there, it's all history. I've lived and worked in some of the greatest fashion capitals all over the world. And fashion and pageantry really shaped who I was. And living in the Midwest, honestly. I really am so proud that that's where I got my values and my morals are rooted there. And no matter who I meet, the minute I say I'm from Iowa, it is always a compliment. Always. Somebody, I laugh because they say, what is it? The 7 separations from Kevin Bacon. That's aging me. Because I said that the other day and someone's like, who's Kevin Bacon? And I was like, what? But you know that saying, 7 separations of Kevin Bacon? So I always think that with Iowa, because no matter who I meet, they're always like, oh, the one that got away was from Iowa, or, oh, my grandmother's from Iowa. So there's always some really beautiful experience that people, or they've never heard of the state.
Or military, or they also did military. But, I think of Iowa, I think about Kevin Costner, Field of Dreams.
Yeah. Is this heaven? No, it's Iowa.
Yeah, corn. I mean, and it is beautiful because I live in the Midwest too, and it's a different type of beauty. But now here you are now.
I am.
Move forward. You've lived in Europe. You've lived in been around the U.S., and here you are in Las Vegas.
Yes.
How did you end up here?
Actually, before that, so to back it up a little bit, I did win Miss Iowa USA, and I got to compete at Miss USA. And from there, that changed my entire life, being a Miss USA contestant. It opened every single door that I could possibly ask for. And I learned so much through pageantry, stage presence, how to speak in rooms. My confidence really came from being around the women there and kind of putting myself in really uncomfortable positions constantly. And after that, I continued to model, but I was asked by Miss Earth USA, which is an incredible pageant system. And they really focus on doing things in the community and being a greener planet, and kind of this, like, that was their platform, is a community service.
That's great.
And I almost didn't want to, because I was like, Miss USA is the pinnacle of the pageants. Why would I compete for any other pageant? But because it was for such a good cause, I was like, okay, why not? Well, it was here in Las Vegas.
Okay.
And
So here you
so
go.
when I was here competing, I was here for a few weeks, and I met so many people that lived here. And by then I was already modeling, and I kind of, I was already traveling. They're like, Danny, Las Vegas is a place to be. We are building an international airport. You can just hop on a plane. Real estate is so affordable. I don't know. I was getting so many great ideas about Las Vegas. And the very next year, I was like, you know what? Changing cities is not something that I am shy about. I feel really comfortable relocating and, like I said, putting myself in really uncomfortable positions. And I came out here pretty much by myself, and it's been almost 20 years.
20 years. Good grief. So you're now officially a vegan. I think after you've been here 10 years.
We own a
10
home.
years
I own a home. Oh yeah, no, it's settled. I'm raising my daughter in this city, and I love this city so much. I want to tell you, I'm talking a lot, Ken.
No, go for it. Real quick, the thing is, because we have talked about this off camera about how really unique that Vegas is, and that Vegas is really coming into its own as a center. And I was talking to the cast before this show that, everywhere in the world, you go anywhere, including Antarctica or northern tip of Alaska, everybody knows what Vegas is. They might not like it, but they know where it is. And you know what? That's what I love about it. It has that interesting blend. And then the other thing,
You're right.
with all the guests I've had on this show so far, everybody has come from somewhere else. So when you think of the definition of a cosmopolitan place, that is people all coming from somewhere else.
You're absolutely right. And I think that's why I really enjoy Vegas, is because there are such an eclectic group of people here. And it's no knock to the Midwest, because I love it there too.
Sure.
But you are seeing a lot of people from all over the world, different cultures. And it's just, I feel like you benefit from having so many different people. But I will say, when I was modeling and I lived in Vegas, it was interesting because the agencies never wanted me to say that I was from Vegas, because Vegas is not really a fashion city. They didn't know either. They just automatically assume in the United States it's New York. That's it. And New York is the only one, right?
Or Paris.
Well, I mean, in the United
In the
States,
US, yeah.
New York is it. Just New York. That's what they think. But when I would go into the castings and I would say that I was from the U.S., and I would sometimes say I'm from Las Vegas, they loved it. They absolutely loved it. It would light up there. And I booked jobs. I was like, no one's telling me that I can't say that I'm from Las Vegas, because the casting director, they would love the fact that I came from Vegas.
Yeah.
So,
Now this is an interesting thing. Now, here you are now, and what you and your company are trying to do is bring fashion to Vegas, which you've done a good job with your magazine and all the things you're working on. But this is something I don't think a lot of people have thought about. We know about Hollywood leaving Hollywood. I mean, they're moving, Atlanta, they're going all over the place. Is the fashion industry, for the same reasons, leaving LA and leaving San Francisco? I think they are. I think it's the cost. It's just the cost of doing business.
yeah, I mean, I think you're onto something, definitely. I don't know if they're necessarily coming to Vegas. I would love to see that. I think, just my experience in modeling in this city, and it would make sense, because we are right behind New York City with the number one shopping experiences in the United States. We have 7 Louis Vuittons in a mile radius.
Oh my gosh.
So to not have fashion be such a pinnacle thing in Las Vegas, it just doesn't make sense why we're not. But I think that stemmed from so many years of this nightlife culture. And these tiny little dresses. And there's nothing wrong with any of that. The girls want to go have fun, but they're not looking to be, it's not like a red carpet experience.
Not yet, though.
Not yet. But for so many years, I think people just immediately thought bandeau dresses in Las Vegas and girls walking the strip with no shoes on. And so immediately with that image, we got this, we don't have any kind of fashion sense here. When people are not thinking that we have more shopping in Las Vegas, and I can't say New York, but it's pretty darn close. We're number 2.
Well, we're going to take a very quick break, and we're going to come back and talk about the changes here. Everybody, this is Ken Winans, Winning with Winans, with our guest, Danny Reese. We'll be right back. And welcome back to Winning with Winans, Las Vegas' newest and coolest financial and business show. And I am honored to have as my guest Danny Reeves, who is a world-known model. She is a fashion businesswoman, and we're just talking about how wonderful Vegas is. So, Danny, let's talk here a moment. So here you left Iowa, lived around the world, and literally have lived around the world. By happenstance, you land in Vegas. And here you are now with a place growing the way it's been. You've got to be somewhat shocked to think about Vegas at 3.5 million people. Industries are coming in here from all over the place. I mean, would you have ever guessed this?
Oh my gosh, I love it. No, I mean, we have grown at a rapid pace. And I've watched it all happen. Like on the Southwest side, I used to live and it was ranches, and now it's grocery stores and shopping centers. It's wild. And I think, but yeah, did I see that happening? Las Vegas is the greatest city in the world. And I don't,
ditto.
It truly is. So I have seen that. And I've been such an advocate for this city for years, ever since I've moved here. So I do think that what we were talking about earlier is that Vegas is a genius at reinventing itself, regardless of the hate that we hear from the other cities. And I know you mentioned jealousy, and I think that couldn't be truer, because we've never really failed. And we are seeing another transition in the city and the growth of the city. And like I said earlier, I think that it's going to be the sports epicenter of the world. I think that we're slowly transitioning into that. Mm-hmm. And
I agree.
What did I say earlier? I want to make it a little bit nicer because we were talking off camera, but I
well,
think they're going to...
Well, we're going to talk unnice because this is a podcast.
So I don't
well, no, I mean, because as you know, since I moved here, I've gotten involved in my industry, as well as I've started to talk to the various politicians, and just because Nevada itself, we look at Vegas being a special place. The whole state is special. And all these pieces are all coming together. I mean, the mining, the rare earths mining, we're the only place in the U.S. that has all this stuff that we need. The fact that Reno and Vegas are now no longer fighting, they're now say, hey, look, we both have a place, and it's accepted. Our power grid, I was shocked to find out. I mean, we are putting a new state of the art that can actually accept alternative energies. We're doing all this here. Mm-hmm. But what really ticks me off is that I'll go somewhere and you'll find that, and I'm going to say Nevada has to fight Arizona, California, Texas, and Florida. Okay, you're all on notice. So because their people, their hired guns are basically saying all this crap about us. It's not true. So according to these guys, the mob still runs the town. Believe it or not, Danny, did you know we're not going to have any water? I mean, yeah, our spigot's almost dry. And by the way, Arizona, you morons drain $2 trillion out of your aquifer to grow alfalfa. They wouldn't do that in Iowa. I mean, they would be smart on what they grow, right?
Absolutely.
So listen, read it and weep, as they say in poker. So California is just trying to hang on to whatever they have left. And then Texas, I have to say, God bless the Texans. They're another hardy, tough group of people.
They really are.
Look what they've done with Dallas. They've turned into this magical financial center. Mm-hmm. Did you ever think you'd get firms out of New York, Goldman Sachs, J.P. Morgan, the NASDAQ, all moving to Dallas?
No, I never saw that coming.
Yeah.
Although I did see it coming.
But you knew it was
Because I have traveled there often, but Dallas reminds me of Iowa. So it does seem a little odd. Like it's like a very farm town. Like it seems small town, even though it's not. So yeah, it seems odd. That's like moving, the financial district to Des Moines. So
Can you imagine though, some of these, let's face it, hoity-toity types that went to the Ivy League schools? They're told you're going to go to Texas.
Yeah.
I'd love to see, and I see these guys get on a horse. That would be clown. Yeah, I'd love to. I mean, these guys could, and maybe some of them play polo. They're the few that, but no, this would be too comical. But no, we are, unfortunately, there is a disinformation campaign. I brought it up to the governor. I bring it up to everybody. We are not punching back hard enough, and I'm hoping. And I think that our success will be our guide. But Danny, did you know, here's just another classic example. According to what I read, and these are in federal statistics, there are more women-owned businesses per capita in Las Vegas, blue and white collar, than anywhere else in the United States.
oh my gosh, I love hearing that.
Yeah, it's true.
I believe it
We're a
because
trendsetter.
we work with some of the most amazing women in our community, and I do believe that. But wow, what a great statistic! Let's go.
And we have more churches per capita than anybody else too,
love
which is blows people's mind. They go, "What, Vegas?" But again, it's not the Strip. It is not the clubs. It is not all that. But at the same time, what I like about here is that we went through a very weird COVID and even post-COVID, people were still kind of like, I don't know how I'm supposed to act. I don't know. Can I give a beautiful woman a compliment without, getting in trouble? Can I say anything? But in Vegas, it's never been a problem. I mean, no one takes offense. No one gets, and I've noticed that it's kind of funny. We prioritize socially, we prioritize things right. I saw, I love hockey, and hey, go Golden Knights.
Go Knights, go.
All right, yeah, go Knights, go. You see somebody has drank a little too much. Okay, let's help them get back to their home. Okay, cigars. If maybe you're not supposed to be smoking a certain place, no one cares. But I have seen, especially at sporting events, if they tell you very upfront, if you see a drunk guy say anything inappropriate to a woman or obviously touch them, they're out of there. No questions asked. It is not accepted. So there's a balance, I think, and I think that's, again, what makes it a fun town. Would you agree?
As a female
Yes.
perspective, I remember first coming to Vegas, and I thought it was quite interesting how people behaved. Just because the city does allow people to come in and pretend that they are no longer teachers or leaders in their community that they came from. And we branded our city as what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. And I think people really took that maybe to the extreme. So as a female in Vegas, I do see that there is still like some inappropriateness, but what are you going to do when people are drinking? That's bound to happen when people are having a good time. But throughout the years, I think that our culture has become a little bit more sensitive. So I think people are watching themselves a little bit more. And I don't see that quite as heavily. I'm not getting maybe it could be do something with like my age now, and people are like, or like they think I'm going to beat them up or something if they do come after me.
Well, you
like
are
that.
tall, so.
Yeah, exactly. I am a threat. Nobody's kidnapping me. But I do feel like it's not as wild as it might have been from a female perspective.
I would say too, as you have as well, you go to, the Chamber of Commerce events, or you go to other business association events, and women are there, and they're dressed like any other businesswoman in any part of the country. I mean, we're here to do business, and it makes a difference.
Absolutely.
Even though this is pretty funny, I went to the legislative session last year. I think there's 3 women in the assembly. They're all either own brothels or they're former prostitutes. So we do still have this mix.
Get your bag, girl.
They won in the election. You probably know who voted them in, but that's a different story. So, Danny, I don't know if you saw the Met Gala now, which is something. I mean, I've been to New York. My dad was a New Yorker. It always been, I want to go to the Met. I want to be in my tuxedo. I want to see those beautiful dresses. And oh my Lord, what I saw, I hate to say it, it looked like a clown act. I mean, I don't know what it was. It looked like Mardi Gras. But here's my thing about fashion is that it's like there are some people that have just, it's like it's a fight for attention. I mean, I'm looking at it from the other perspective. But what I see happening here in Vegas is a balance. My girlfriend and I just went to a veterans gala. The women were in beautiful gowns. I mean, they were dressed beautifully. Everything was fine. Yet we all know you can go to the Strip and you can see something else. How is it that Vegas has been able to maintain that balance between the two worlds? What would you say?
I will say that the Met Gala is designed to be a little bit more playful, although we have seen a lot of different things go through each year. It's art to me. I always enjoy watching the drama behind the Met Gala and how people feel about either the topic or like the whatever Anna Winter says, the what's it called? I'm drawing a blank. But however they're supposed to be dressed.
Oh, protocol.
Their theme, whatever the theme is for that year. So I do feel like, fashion is an art form. I always believe that it's theatrical. That's why I always gravitate towards it. And it's your own perception of that art. So even though there are things on the carpet that I wouldn't ever wear or I would question, I definitely enjoy seeing what people bring to the carpet. And it has changed over, the years. So, but for Vegas to bring that balance, I think it goes back to, again, what is going on the Strip is not how the locals are. Do we go to the Strip? Absolutely. I love going to the Strip. I absolutely love it. But I do dress a little differently when I go to the Strip than when I'm in Summerlin. I put on all the jazz on the Strip, and you can get away with being a little bit crazy or expressive in your fashion on the Strip because anything goes there, right? Even no shoes. Stop doing that, though. We don't agree with this.
Wait a minute, wait. Are you walking? You're walking to wear barefoot on the Strip?
No, me never. I would rather my feet bleed all the way down Las Vegas Boulevard before I go.
I think people should see what's been dumped on those sidewalks.
No, they don't care. They don't care. But I do think that the locals live differently than what the Strip is giving our reputation as. What we're doing off the Strip is. There are so many entrepreneurs and business owners, doctors, lawyers, teachers. We have everything here. So to judge the locals and how we live based on what's happening on the Strip is just, it doesn't match.
It's funny. You use the word judge. I actually find that if there's judgments, it's coming from the outside looking in. I actually think Las Vegas is one of the most non-judgmental places I've ever been on planet Earth. Yeah. People here, it's kind of live and let live. There's not, they just don't immediately jump to conclusions.
I would agree.
I just found.
I totally agree. That's why I felt when I moved to Vegas, I was like, I felt like home because I could, like I said, I could express myself however I wanted to. I could dress. Coming from Iowa, if you wore a dress to go out on a Friday night, your friends would immediately send you back into the room and be like, you cannot wear that. You can't. You cannot put makeup on. You cannot. Now, I don't know what it's like now, but I'm pretty sure it's the same. It's the same.
Yeah.
You're not going to wear what. And when I came to Vegas, I could put on thigh-high boots and slick my hair back and do the crazy, like, dark smoky eye and wear whatever I wanted to, leather pants, the whole thing. Back in Iowa, you can't do that. I think Vegas allows you to be yourself. I can't speak for everyone, but that's why I love the city so much.
Well, now you're trying to raise a child here.
Yeah.
Is that difficult to do, being that we're in a place that can be the crosswinds of spectrums run the full gamut? I mean, there's prostitution outside in Nye County. There's, the city was built up by the mob. I mean, there are these things of our history that are just there. Does it come up at all? Does it with your child?
Well, I would be lying if I told you that I'm not nervous to raise a child in a big city, considering that I
Where you came
was so
from.
blessed from where I came from. But what gives me so much confidence about raising my daughter is that every single one of my best friends were born and raised here. One of my favorite
Really?
persons in the world is my publisher with Deluxe Version Magazine, Timothy Hancock, and he was born and raised here. The people that I have met that were born and raised in Vegas are some of the most deeply rooted, valued people, and they have
Completely agree.
such great morals. They go to church. It makes me want to like cry. They are like it's such a great community. I'm going to cry because I just looked at Tim.
Hi, Tim.
But so that gives me confidence to raise my daughter here. And I chose a home in Las Vegas where my neighborhood is the best. I have the most incredible neighbors. My daughter just had a lemonade stand in our neighborhood and she made almost $200 and all my neighbors came out and support. It's just so good. So I chose a really great neighborhood. She goes to a beautiful school. I love her teachers. I get to bring her. She almost came with me today, but I get to bring her to almost all of our work events, and
That's
she's
great.
around these accomplished people. So she doesn't see anything except for success or like great role models in her life. And that's what makes me, just really happy about raising her here. And but it does scare me. Yeah. Cause she's going to be making her own decisions. I cannot make every decision. I can't protect her at all times. I just can't. It's not physically possible. I just have to know that I am setting a great example for her and I choose to make the right decisions. We don't have alcohol in our house ever.
Well, really? Well,
Not
that's
that.
great.
I just don't. Who am I going to drink with? Don't get me wrong. I love to have a good glass of champagne, but I was raised that way. We never had alcohol in the home, and I just try to do like little things that she would look up. She always sees me hustling. She sees me working. She sees me around incredible people doing amazing things, and I'm really hoping that she sees that, and she wants to make the right decisions for herself.
I'm going to add, by the way, such a good answer to that question because I think some people will say, well, what's wrong with her? It's not that. I'm much more the type, I just want to lay it out there. Lay it out there. Don't hide behind pretenses. I mean, saw that in California, see it in New York, you see it in other places. Hey, those same things exist there. I don't think there's anything you can't. No, so let's get past that. I would also say too, Danny, that I mean, we talk about, I know I'm a Christian, you're a Christian. I'm proud to say that.
Thank you,
and,
Jesus.
I know I go to Faith Lutheran and they have a fantastic, the academies. And it's pretty funny. I found it's kind of a comical joke, but we have a lot of Jewish people who send their kids to a Lutheran school. You got to love the irony there. They can do it in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
You couldn't do that in New York. That would go, what are you doing? But let's talk about your magazine.
Okay.
Okay. First off, congratulations. It is by any measure, you take it to New York, take it to Paris, take it anywhere. That thing would hold up pound for pound as good as any other magazine. And look, it just would. Aww. And I think my kudos to you and your team for being able to put that kind of very classy thing together. Yet it's very Vegas. There's a balance. It wasn't a copy. You weren't trying to copy anybody else. And I loved it. So my compliments to you.
Oh, Ken, thank you so much.
That's
I can't take full, I am not. Timothy, our publisher, I give him full credit for everything. He does the same thing. He calls me boss, but he really is a genius behind everything that we've built with the magazine. He started it. And I want to tell this story because I think it's so special of how I met Timothy. And I think that shapes like why the magazine is so great is because he's such a great leader. But I had a TV show on Amazon Prime, and Tim had started the magazine about a year and a half, maybe 2 years before. And he was, back then, everybody was doing these awards on the Strip, best bartender, best casino, everything was on the Strip. And Timothy saw this gap in the award space and was trying to bring in people off the Strip, best entrepreneur, doctors, lawyers, newest leaders type of thing. And I had a TV show on Amazon Prime at the time, and he asked me to come receive an award at one of the events. And when I showed up, there was a red carpet. We had Stacey Galandi, which is an Emmy Award-winning journalist, doing these interviews at the production level. And that's what the background that I came in, right? So when I showed up to this event and it looked like these high-end production studios and events that I'm used to being on, I don't know, it just felt so good. So after that evening, and I got to meet everybody else who was being honored that night, I immediately went up to Timothy and I said, I don't know what you're doing here, but I want to be a part of whatever you're doing. And the very next day we met in his Range Rover and we took meetings in the Range Rover. And from there it was history, and he can never get rid of me ever.
Oh, so you stalk him, huh?
I will stalk him.
It is an open carry state. I mean,
no way. I could never. Oh my gosh. No, I really love what we are building here in the community. And I don't know, it's just really special. And I think just like how Las Vegas constantly reinvents itself, I think Timothy and I are doing that as well with, the production, the media, our podcasts, and just really trying to find other ways to support these business owners. And yeah, I really enjoy what we do here.
Well, here's the good news. We have a commitment statewide to diversify out. So industries like yours and mine are what the state wants here. They want to try to do things. That's okay. I didn't say anything.
Sorry.
No, we can edit that out. But no, but we're diversifying out things. And this comes from the top down. Everybody agrees. Democrat, Republican, everybody agrees. Although gaming will always be part of our industry base, the idea is, as you said, sports are coming here. That transformed everything. Having more financial service firms like mine, having fashion companies like yours here, it's going to make everything real interesting as we move forward. And mark my words, the next 10 years, if they think we're successful now, just wait.
Amen.
Yeah.
I completely agree. We are such a well-rounded city, and that comes from having so many diversified humans in the city. So you can't tell me we're not the best city in the world. We just are. I just feel like we maybe shouldn't have marketed ourselves back in the day as like Sin City, because you're right. I think every city has like something bad in it. Coming from a small town in Iowa, there's a lot of like trucks, and there's not a lot to do there. And so people kind of get in that loop, right? So I could be worried about living in that small town and the same things,
You're past that.
Oh, no, I'm not. We're not going back. Sorry, Mom and Dad. We are not going back.
Well, the other part of it too, because as you know, I wrote that article in Forbes called The New Western Wall Street. And I've had competitors come out here. And what's funny, Danny, it's that, usually I look at the tax breaks, great business environment. They bring their wives. And so immediately they think you're going to live on the Strip. And I say, no, I don't live on the Strip. And so what happens, though, that they have, and I actually think there's a concern that this is an amoral place, that their husband's going to be under attack by all these young, beautiful women trying to get their money. And then you bring them out to Henderson, or you bring them to Summerlin, or you take them to Lake Las Vegas. They go, oh, this is like Scottsdale. Oh, this is like Rancho Bernardo. Yes, this has nothing to do with the Strip. Yeah. So again, I go back to that disinformation campaign and you're right. I mean, would have, could have, should have. Maybe we overplayed our hand a little too much there. But at the same time, I do understand we all, you, me, Tim, we all have an obligation to say, look, we're not going to say that's not part of it, but you have the same things where you are, and we're trying to make it be more diverse here.
Yeah, newsflash, there are beautiful women in every single city,
Thank you.
small town in the world.
Yeah,
It does
good
not.
luck with that one. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why everybody has choices. And I think
Yeah.
you got to trust your mans.
Well, the other thing too, I know we got to jump to some questions here. The other thing I would say too that a lot of people miss out on, there's a lot to do here. I mean, we have a ski resort 30 minutes from downtown
Yeah,
Vegas.
so great.
We have Red Rock Canyon. We have Lake Mead. We have all these things. And so you tell people, look, there's a lot of outdoor stuff to do here. You can ride horses. You can do whatever you want. I actually find more to do here than I could.
Much.
Well, compared to when I lived in the Bay Area. I mean, I actually find there's more areas to go into that are actually more remote.
Have you ever thought that sometimes I feel this way? We have so many options here. I'm so overwhelmed when making a decision. Like if my girlfriends ask, oh, where do you want to go for lunch? I cannot decide because there's so many incredible options that we have, whether it's activities or shows, that I'm overwhelmed by the amazing opportunities that we get to live here in Vegas.
You know the key? When I first moved here, I'm going to my 4th year, I realized very quickly, I can't do it in a year. I actually did a 2-year calendar. And I said, okay, I might not go to F1 this year, or I might not go to the rodeo, but I'll go the following year. So I agree with you. You'll find, wait, what happened to my budget? Well, and by the way, so here we have the Golden Knights, they're going to Stanley Cup. And that is one thing I've had people complain about the cost of living here. Well, I have news for you. If you want to go to the Stanley Cup Finals and you want to be in the rafters at T-Mobile Arena, it's $900 a ticket.
Wow.
But that would be the same price you would pay in Los Angeles or New York or Paris or anywhere else. So I don't see that again, they're talking, oh, it's so expensive here. On a day-to-day basis.
So much.
Exactly.
You're right, though, Ken, because when I first moved here, one of the things that drew me to Vegas is that it was so affordable. I couldn't believe the prices. I mean, when I was living in Milano, I had a tiny it had a hole underneath my bed. This is a model's apartment, but like it was into the ground, a hole where cucarachas could come out, like anything could come out. And that apartment was so expensive, right? So in Vegas, the prices were not even competitive. They were just so low. But I don't want to complain because I feel like, honestly, anytime that I'm like, oh, maybe it's time for me to get out of Vegas, maybe I'll go somewhere else because I do love to travel and start new and reinvent myself too. There's always that thought, oh, this sports team's going to come. That's money for me to make. Or whatever is new coming, I always see an opportunity to better myself because of whatever is coming into the city. Like the A's coming into the city, that brings so many jobs, so many more activities. We're going to have so many events at that stadium. It's unlimited opportunities every time we have something new coming in. And I don't know. And then my house appreciates more every year. So I just feel like...
And it's different than 2008, 2009. The building going on now is different. Okay. Well, and then the other thing too, we're going to continue to spread out. I mean, I know one of the big cost issues is the fact that Vegas is basically landlocked because we're surrounded by federal land. Well, they're releasing more of the land. I think that whole corridor down to Prim is just going to fill up all the way out to Lake Las Vegas.
Ooh, do you think that's why they're shutting Prim down?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
That's why it was just bought. Well, you see where the money's going. And that's pretty funny when they talk about, oh, the Strip is in trouble. Oh, and as I tell people, by the way, Strip's packed every night, guys.
Oh
I don't know
this
empty Strip you all are talking about in California.
And these people who are spreading that do not live here.
No, they don't live here.
And but I do think we are repositioning ourselves. I keep saying that. And I kind of get upset when I get on Instagram and I hear this rhetoric. And sometimes I do go on a tangent in the comment section because maybe the club scene is going to position itself differently. And like I said, I don't think we're going to cater to a 21-year-old crowd anymore. I think that time is over, and you might need a little bit more money to live in Las Vegas. But when you think about the amenities that you have here and everything that we can do here, it just still makes sense. Las Vegas is not LA. You know,
We don't want to be LA.
no, and they pay a fortune, you know, and we're not New York City. And I just feel like, it's such a great city.
Well, here's the thing. Yeah, and I agree with you. I would also say too, and you included, you find very smart business people here. They're very practical. You know, you learn how to deal with a competitive environment. I mean, a restaurant shuts down, new ones open. They repivot things. The club scene, we're gone country western. I mean, look at Luke Combs has opened a new place. You have, you know, Blake Shelton's Old Red.
So
We've gone
funny.
western. So we just constantly find our way to, and as far as the young people, I think you'll always have Fremont Street. That's yours. It's always going to be yours. You know, you want to go to Binion's and get a dollar beer. Good luck. You're always going to do that.
Do they still have those down there?
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, it depends when.
I do love me some Fremont Street.
Well, circus fun. I love Circa and the teens. Circus is always fun. But there's a point in time for things, you know. Now, I would also say this, and then we're going to jump into some questions. I know you have some questions for me. That one of the Clark County supervisors, and it was really funny because people ask me about the mob guys. You do still see some guy in their 80s. Like I ran into one guy one time, and somehow he and I were talking, and so where have you lived? He goes, well, I've lived in New York, Atlantic City, Boston, Chicago, and Vegas. Gee, surprise.
What are you up to?
And he knew his weapons, so we just said, okay, let it go. So we were talking about the leadership, the local leadership. And one of the folks there, you know, older gentleman, been in Las Vegas a very long time, spoke with a bit of an East Coast accent. So I never read too much into it, Danny, but he said, you know what I love about Vegas? He dropped a few slang terms in there, but he said, you know what we did during COVID? Yeah, exactly. I'm not going to go into it. We built the Sphere. We fixed the roads for F1. We finished that
Circa open.
Yeah, well, he said we screwed up that Fontainebleau hotel that those idiots. Yeah, they literally said that these guys screwed up. We had to go in and fix it. We built the Raiders stadium. He said then we took all that. We fixed around the roads all over this place. He said find one other darn city in America that did one of those.
They don't want to talk about that. They do not want to talk about that. They want to talk about how they think we're failing.
Yeah, failing. Well, and then he also said we don't believe in historical landmarks. We blow them up. When you've outlived your purpose, like the Tropicana, you're gone.
That might have some truth to it.
Well, yeah. Well, because if you tried to do that in California, there would be a commission. Well, wait a minute, there's historical evidence, or somebody might sprinkle a few arrowheads. Oh, native land, we can't do anything. They do something to stop it. But I would also say this, that you have a mindset here. And, you know, we're also very open to talk about Mandalay Bay. We're open to talk about that horrible event. But I love what he said. He said the best thing we could do to honor those people is to build that A's stadium and have a vibrant, happy place on that very, very sad area. It's the mindset that we have here that I think other places just don't have.
Yeah, because right now it's pretty sad looking. So
well, it's coming up fast.
Yeah,
they're going to be here. All right.
I will say also if we are being criticized for blowing up some of our natural landmarks or reinventing the space, you know, one thing when I lived in New York is they would always reinvent restaurants and clubs. So every other city actually does the same thing. And I think that's maybe part of Las Vegas's culture is that that's what we do that. And instead of criticizing that, we are getting rid of maybe these buildings that needed way more TLC than, and you can't reinvent the Tropicana. You can only reinvent the Tropicana so many times and then we're not going to the Tropicana anymore. Okay. Exactly. So let's be financially smart here and put something in that people are going to come and enjoy and spend money and will be profitable for the city.
I have to ask you before we jump into some other questions, the train. What are your thoughts about this Bright Line train after the debacle in California with their $200 billion train mess? What do you think? Would you ride it? Would you take the train to LA?
Yes.
You would?
Yes.
Okay. I think I would too.
Yeah.
By the way, they brought the tickets down.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. They started out like $300. I said,
Oh
guys,
yeah, no one's going to take the train for that.
Yeah, now down to 144.
Okay, absolutely.
Yeah,
Why not?
2 hours, high-speed train. So it's really funny. I asked people in California about it. I said, well, you guys take the train here. And they said, well, the roads are so bad in California, they have no choice. So I actually think it's, again, we talk about Vegas reinventing itself. We've had trains here forever, but somebody was smart enough to say, hey, let's put this in place and see what happens.
Yeah, I do find myself driving to LA often. I don't know why. I think because I have a child, and at that time I was like, oh, we'll just drive. We'll make it a little road trip. And when I was younger, I was like, oh, this is easy, little 3.5 hour, 4 hour drive. But no, it never ends up being like that.
No, you hit the traffic.
It ends up being a nightmare somehow. I actually did some research on my last trip back from LA that I ended up getting caught in traffic in a terrible accident. And it's actually one of the most dangerous passes in the United States is that
I-15.
Vegas to LA. And why was I driving the whole time? So I am open to safer, quick ways to get to LA other than the airport. Because sometimes flying can be a hassle too, you know. Travel has not been enjoyable. I think there needs to be a shift in our transportation.
I totally agree. Well, you get to the point where you say, I'm not going to travel. But here's the thing. So we talk about our amazing city. So you have, you know, an airport that takes you places all around the world nonstop. I mean, I love it when I sit out here at night and I'll see the big giant 777s. You know they're going to Beijing.
So cool.
You know they're going to London. You know they're going somewhere.
Yeah.
And then now the train, you know, and actually I think as a business person, because I do have clients in California, it will make it much easier.
So good.
Logistically.
Yeah, I can't wait. I've been waiting for this since we've moved out. I know there's been talks of it for decades. So I've been waiting for this to happen for a long time.
Okay, final story, because I always like to beat up on California a little bit. Okay, you know why the train took so long?
Tell me.
They were overly worried about the desert tortoise. So I'm not kidding.
The poor baby. I totally agree. We do not want anything to happen to the desert tortoise. Are they okay?
Their end of the track is cost about 4 times more money. Now, I'm paraphrasing this because I heard it from other people. California put in these little tortoise tunnels underneath the track.
Wait, you told me this and it's worse.
Okay, well, the problem is they don't understand what a rattlesnake is. And I try to explain to them that the rattlesnake would love to eat a tortoise and will ambush them in the tunnels. So as a country boy, we know those are, I know it's pretty funny. I mean, it's funny, sad. But the thing was, I said, guys, I've driven the 15 so many times.
I've never seen a tortoise.
I've never seen a dead tortoise ever.
I've never seen a tortoise. I've never seen a tortoise, actually, unless somebody owned one here. I've never seen a tortoise
They were
ever.
pets.
Yeah,
and they were pretty big too.
Pet.
I guess I got some got pretty big.
Yeah.
What I heard from people.
Interesting. I didn't know that. Well, I do support animal safety.
Of course I do. But I mean, this is
I
not.
did not know that was why it was taking so long.
I'm far more concerned that somebody doesn't try to jump on the track when the train's coming or something like this. So.
Yeah.
All right, enough of all that stuff. Okay. Danny, I've gone through all my questions.
I have questions for you.
Well, let me ask you, is there anything else that we haven't covered about your amazing business and all the things you're doing?
I mean, I would love to invite anybody who has heard of Deluxe Version Magazine to any of our events. We are hosting
your events
a lot
are top-notch.
of incredible events this summer.
And you make friends with people. I've made so many friends at your events. I mean, just really cool, fun
Thanks,
people.
Ken.
And the venues you guys pick are par excellence. They're great.
We've got some really incredible event spaces this summer that I'm so excited. I don't know when this is going to be released, but Omnia Sky Bar just opened. It's one of Caesar Palace's newest restaurants, part of the pool, actually, the new day club pool.
Oh, real? Wow.
And that's going to be one of our new event spaces. And it's located right on the strip. So we're going to be networking and honoring these incredible people in our community while the background of Las Vegas is
love it
gleaming behind us so glamorously.
Yeah, the foundation room's reopening at Mandalay.
Oh, wow.
So it's going to be a whole new club.
That's legendary.
Yeah, well, there's going to be a whole new club.
We've never had an event there, so maybe that's something we...
No, let me know.
Oh,
I got some friends there.
You can pull some strings
pull
for
some strings.
us. Okay.
Well, you know, that's the famous phrase. Hey, I know a guy. I know a gal. That's what
we used to stay away from people that would say that.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, we know somebody.
But now that's the way things get done in Vegas.
Yeah, you're right.
But Danny Reeves, what can I tell you? You guys just run an outstanding company, and we're going to keep hearing more and more and more. So guys, you've got to go to their events. Trust me on this. You'll love it. But Danny, you said you had some questions for me.
Yeah, let's go.
All right, go.
I don't know. Can we?
You don't know. Well, let's see here. All right,
I
I'm
didn't
not
get any
supposed to.
of these questions. So
All right, well,
can I
here we
take a
go. All right,
peek?
I'm not supposed to look at them.
Oh, you're
supposed
not?
to.
Okay.
All right, here we go. All right.
Am I able to read off of this? Does this look professional? Okay.
All right. Because this is a financial podcast, and it is business, and it's about making money, and we're in a wildly crazy bull market right now. So what do we want to talk about?
Let's see. Okay. All right, Ken, I've got my trusty notes here because what we have found is that sometimes in the financial world, it's kind of like a doctor speaking to us in a different language.
Yep.
So I have a few terms that I would like for you to give us in English terms. So when people say asset allocation, what does that mean?
It means the mix of your portfolio. So, all right, all investing. Let's cut right down, forgetting all the terms. You either own or you loan. That's it. You're either lending money to a company, a person, a state, or you're owning a stock, a piece of real estate, a collectible. Hopefully not the new Ferrari. If you've seen that horribly looking thing, it looks terrible.
Did they change the body?
The Ferrari EV.
How have I not seen
It looks like a
this?
glorified Prius. It looks terrible. Yeah, it looks terrible. Yeah, don't get me started.
I've always thought the McLarens looked better
and by the
anyway,
way,
but that was just me.
they chose baby blue instead of red Ferrari. Yeah.
Well, powder blue is my favorite color, so I can't be mad at that. But really, how did I not know this
And
was
Ferrari
happening?
stock lost $5 billion in one
You
day.
can't
when they released
change
it.
Ferrari red ever.
Yeah. Well, they did. All right, we're getting off track.
Okay,
All right.
okay, sorry.
So yeah, just think of mix. So it's how much do you own and how much have you lent?
Okay, I like that. That's easy.
Owning and loaning.
Okay, let's see. When people say the market is volatile, well,
Volatile. Huh?
if I can say the word,
That's right. It sounds like an Iowa term. Volatile.
sounds like some kind of prescription. I don't know.
At least you didn't say Viagra. So
Okay, what's actually happening then? What is actually happening when they say that the market is in such shambles?
the market. Okay, so what people forget is that a stock, there's a buyer and there's a seller. The difference between what a buyer is willing to buy it for and a seller is willing to sell it for causes the price to move up and down. So if you think about, I could take it a lot of places. Think about real estate. There's what we call a seller's price and a buyer's price there. But the thing is, it moves slower. It goes over many, many weeks of negotiation and all that. Stocks is nanosecond. And now you take the AI world and all this 24/7 trading all the time. The volatility comes in because these transactions are happening in that split time that causes prices to look like they're shaking around too much. That's
Right.
volatility.
But you're never really supposed to pay attention to that, right? Like
I should.
you should.
Yeah, my client should.
But no, we are not supposed. Otherwise,
that's-
we're taking everything out and we're freaking out and we're calling you and the world is over.
I tell people all the time, I'm a hired gun. I'm a hired gun to manage that portfolio. Or let's put it in, you're from the Midwest.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm a country boy too. You had a ranch manager handling your cows, right? The people who own the ranch weren't out there dealing with their cows.
Oh,
they
right.
had ranch hands.
Right.
It's the same game.
Got it.
Same stuff.
Since you understand commodities, what is a commodity cycle and why should regular investors care?
Okay, I love that I have a person who grew up in farmland asking me this question.
Okay, good. Tell me
Okay,
why.
now you clearly know from your many years of living in Iowa that it's not real smart to try to plant crops in the middle of winter time. The land, it might be a little frozen, a little hard. Okay, you know that, right?
Correct.
And it's probably pretty smart that when the corn is real tall and it's summertime, it's time to harvest. We call that the seasonal cycle. Okay? It happens that way every year. Now, what you don't know, and we talk about cycles, is that there have been years when you have a good crop, and a bumper crop,
Right.
more corn than you thought you were going to grow, and some years where maybe the corn stalks are not quite that great.
Or we had a flood.
Yeah, or right now we're having a big worry about wheat. We're having a massive fertilizer shortage because of the Iran war. And so a lot of farmers are going, I'm not going to be able to grow as much as I did. So back on the cycles, what we're going to be looking at right now, we're in a cycle of there being commodity shortages. But when you have shortages, prices go up. So that's just the nature of it. When you have too much crop, prices drop. So it's counterintuitive. Shortages mean prices go up. Abundance mean prices go down.
But just like farmers, you're prepared for an
Sure.
off season.
Well, you would hope so.
You want to be.
Yeah, and it's tough. Like even right now, I mean, many people don't. I mean, you probably wonder. You go to the strip, you order a steak, and you look at the price. You go,
I'm vegetarian.
oh, all right. Well, then you don't know. All right. Well, that makes sense. You know.
You order a baked potato.
Okay, but you probably have heard some complaints. The price of steak now has passed the price of a bottle of wine.
Oh, you know what?
That's
my
crazy.
mom was, so I'm from like the Omaha area
Oh, sure. A lot
like
of steaks.
Iowa, but we're right on the border of Nebraska. And my brother's birthday was just last week, and she wanted to send him, he is not vegetarian. She wanted to send him Omaha steaks. Omaha steaks is like, we know
steak.
that is what it is, right? And that's the only thing that people in the Midwest really eat is if it's not an Omaha steak, we're not eating it type of thing. She was like, you can't believe how much it costs now to send a box of Omaha steaks.
Yeah.
So you're right. I actually have heard that, even though I'm vegetarian, that the steak is.
But you know what? Here's the thing about
Insanely
commodities that what concerns me, and I've raised this question. If you went back and looked at the way your grandparents had an investment portfolio, if they had one, I guarantee they had commodities in their portfolio. I mean, because they came from farms, they came from ranches.
Yeah.
I mean, my dad grew up on an apple farm in upstate New York. They knew the cycles of weather and all that stuff. Somehow, and it's one of those mysteries about my industry, why we thought it was a good idea to tell everybody, oh, no, we're not going to do any more commodities. We're just going to do all stocks. Stocks, as we talked about volatility, it's very volatile. I think we made a mistake. Stop that when we told the common retail investor, nope, you don't want to do commodities anymore, just do stocks. And guess what? You missed some huge opportunities.
What's the best one that you would say to invest in right now?
Well, you're going to laugh. I'll tell you a quick story because you and I can talk forever. So I'm back at Charles Schwab's headquarters in Dallas, and I was part of a group of money managers. You know, like you, I've been given my trophies and all this stuff, but they were talking about cryptocurrency. Oh, crypto, Bitcoin, Ether, and all that. And I'm trained in that stuff. I've actually taken the time to learn about it. But I laughed because I said, hey guys, if you look out your window, I'll show you something that's actually outperformed crypto in the last 3 years. Cows. Yep. So just look out your window.
Really?
And none of them, and here, this is again, Charles Schwab. None of them trade commodities, and they live in Dallas. Something's wrong with that math. That you would be willing to go after something new that's really still questionable in my mind, but something that's been around for hundreds of years. Your grandparents traded it, but nope, it's too risky for investors to go into. Makes no sense to me. But that's my opinion.
Interesting. I love that.
And by the way, I love Charles Schwab. Hey, go. But it's a funny story.
But invest in the cows.
Yes, invest in the cows.
The yield curve sounds very technical.
Boy, we're getting techie
What
here.
is it? And why do financial people watch it so closely?
Okay, yield curve. Best way I can describe it, it's the difference in interest rates between something like a 30-day treasury bill and a 30-year treasury bond. You're measuring the difference in how much you would make by buying that bond versus keeping your money in cash.
Okay.
Very simple.
Easy enough. Did I get them all? Oh, I hear terms like inflation hedge
Oh,
and connected to gold and commodities and real estate. What does that mean?
so inflation, one of the problems that a lot of people have is that, and by the way, it's not just because of the Iran war. There's always been some inflation in our system, and it just simply means that what a dollar used to buy 10 years ago doesn't buy the same amount today. I mean, the fact that we've dumped the penny, which is pretty funny when you think about it. And by the way, the nickel's going too. So we're going to be down to a dime pretty soon. But the point is, so people ask the question, it's not that I can save a certain amount of money. It's what will that money buy you by the point in time you want to use it for retirement or something else. So when you talk about an inflation hedge, you want to make sure that whatever you're in actually grows enough to not only keep your money even with inflation, but actually net grows. So you talk about inflation hedges. I would argue stocks are an inflation hedge. Real estate's an inflation hedge. You mentioned gold. Gold has a tendency to, there used to be a rule that the cost of a good man's business suit per ounce of gold. So right now, if you think about it, well, if you're going to go buy a big, nice, Italian-made suit, it's probably going to cost you about $3,000. So it's kind of the same rule. It's just, of course, jeans don't cost that, so it's.
Oh no, not the Wranglers probably.
Yeah.
I mean, the Wranglers keep their. I feel like they're not, but the designer ones. Let me tell you. I think that's all my questions.
I would just say, I'd add a couple other quick questions.
Yeah.
There is a litany of people calling themselves advisors and all that. You really need to dial into what their background is. Just like when you think about your background in fashion, you need to know who you're dealing with. And I tell people all the time, just because they have a bunch of letters after their name doesn't mean they're necessarily any good at what they do. You've got to be careful.
Preach, Ken. Where did that come from? Tell me where that thought came from.
Because I've seen a lot of people get misused. One of my big pet peeves is I'm very concerned about annuities, insurance annuities. These are most of the time, and look, every type of investment vehicle has a place, but annuities are very expensive. The fees on them are huge, and I dare say that I think that they've been misused by a lot of people. So be careful out there.
Yeah, you got to go to a professional. This has been your livelihood, and I love that you put yourself in rooms that also might be a little uncomfortable, and you speak the truth, and you're kind of not afraid of what anybody's going to say, but you do it in a way that is not offensive. Like you're like a good old boy type.
I have my own ways. Here's the thing. I appreciate that. No, I really am, because you can be good at what you do and still be very respectful of other people. And hey, look,
and not always have the same mindset or opinions or thought processes of them.
And you have been through ups and downs, and I've been through ups and downs. And I would just say that, look, the way I look at it, I was given God-given talents, and I made the most out of them. So you just have to do that. But here's the thing. There's going to be more and more firms of my caliber moving to Las Vegas. I still think, we look out 10 years from now, Vegas is going to, I think we're going to blow Phoenix away. Phoenix will no longer be.
I didn't even know, was that a competitive city of ours? I didn't even know that.
Well, no, a lot of firms, we made a mistake. A lot of firms did move operations to Phoenix, but I think that more and more firms are going to leave California. I mean, it's just a fact. They are.
Yeah.
I actually know several firms where the presidents, they can't rebuild their houses.
I know.
They're in the Palisades.
Yeah, it's
And
terrible.
they said, that's it. We're done. We're out of here. This is ridiculous. So they're going to pick up their companies and move. And I've just been trying to tell them, you don't have to go to Texas. You don't have to go to Florida. And by the way, we don't have disasters here. All right.
That is our cue.
Yep, we lost. Well, let's just keep going, okay? Oh, Danny, we lost our light. So I think that's our cue to.
I know. Was that a sign?
It's the hook. It's the hook pulling up.
Get him off the air.
Danny Reeves, I thank you so much for coming on the show, dear. Oh, here we go. All right, everybody. Listen, we'll be right back to wrap up the last segment of Winning with Winans. Stay tuned. Listen to our ads, and then we'll be right back. Okay?
So good. How'd we do?